Okay, so in the last video we talked about TH, and so in this video we're going to focus on the difference between S and Z specifically. That means exactly S and Z. Now, it's important to understand that S doesn't make only one sound, although generally Z makes the same sound. So we'll focus on S first, okay? So the basic pronunciation for the S sound, which is S, is to close your teeth, and to bring your tongue tight a little bit behind your teeth, but not touching your teeth. Your tongue should not touch your teeth, but it's close behind it. So like this. S, s. Alright, so now let's go over a couple of examples with the S sound like this basic S sound. S-I-N-G and M-I-S-S-I-L-E, okay? Alright, so the first one, S-I-N-G, sing, 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 okay? Now, I can say it with my teeth not quite touching, but I would recommend just to remember the sound that at the beginning, when you practice it, you should bring your teeth together, like that, okay? The next one, missile, 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 okay? Now, notice that this is not a clear sile sound. So here's an example where we learned the I-L-E should make a long I sound, right? I, but in this case it doesn't. We say sul, missile, missile. Now, before I talk about the other S sounds, I should probably say something about Z, because the other S sound is the Z sound. One of them is the Z sound. So let's talk about how to make the Z. When you want to make the Z sound correctly, you need to make your tongue pretty firm. Okay, tongue pretty firm. And then you want to bring your tongue up where the sides of your tongue are against your teeth. The sides of your tongue are pushed up against your teeth. And the front of your tongue is very, very near your teeth so that it can vibrate or move like this. Okay? Now, your teeth must be closed and must be touching because part of the Z sound, teeth must be closed and touching. So for the S sound, I told you you should close your mouth, but you can make the S sound without exactly touching your teeth together. But for the Z sound, you really have to bring your teeth very tight together to make the sound well, okay? And again, your tongue is up against the side of your mouth, against your teeth, okay? Also need to use your voice when you say the Z sound, so it should be coming from here as well. So, tight here, tight up, coming from the back of the throat. Zzz. If I open my mouth a little bit, like that, I can't make it. Zzz. Zzz. I can kind of make the sound, but it's not correct. So make sure that your mouth is closed tight. Zzz. Zzz. Now notice, it's not so hard that the sound has to suddenly stop. It's not a zzz, zzz sound. It's also a very long sound. You should be able to do it softly for quite a long time, even though your tongue is pushed up against your teeth. So, zzz, like that, okay? Zzz. Now, the reason I'm going to the Z sound and then back to the S sound is because I want to first make sure you know the Z sound, and then we'll talk about examples when the S does make that sound, the same sound. Okay, so a couple of examples here. Z-E-B-R-A, Z-O-N-E, and D-O-Z-E. Okay, so let's go through these words carefully. The first two at the beginning, the others at the end, the last sound. Zebra, 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 okay? Z, 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 which is also the name of the letter. The name of the letter is Z, zebra. Okay, the next one, zone. Zo, zo, zone, zone. Zebra, zone. Zebra, zone. The next one at the end should not be as strong. Fuzz, fuzz. Be careful not to add a sound after it. If you say fuzz, that's 2 syllables. That's incorrect. Fuzz, fuzz, fuzz. But not that long. Fuzz, fuzz. The next one, doze, 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 doze. Okay, so the Z sound I think is not too difficult. I think if you practice it, you'll be able to get the sound. Make sure that you can hold it for a long time. If you can't go Z for a long time, you're not doing it right. If your Z sound goes Z, 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 and dies every time, it's too hard. You need to make it a little bit softer. Okay, so practice until you can get it to sound like Z, a forever flat sound. Okay, back to S. Back to S we go. Here we go, back to S. Okay. Now, examples when the S makes a Z sound. Okay, the first one. This one has the Y, U sound. Remember when we talked about U, right? We said sometimes U makes the y sound. Sometimes makes the oo sound. This one makes the y sound. A little bit of Y there. Fuse, 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 fuse. We can break it up like this. We could say it's similar to F-E-W plus Z. Few, Z, right? This is pronounced few. Few, Z, or F plus use, U-S-E, just like this one. Use, 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 not use, not use, use, use. Fuse and use, okay? This one has actually 2 pronunciations, which is interesting. This could be an action, like he plus this, or it could be an animal, more than one of a certain animal. First one, does, like he. He does, he does, he does, does, this is a U sound. Duh, does, 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 he does, okay? The next one, which is the other pronunciation of this, is a female deer. Maybe you know that famous song from The Sound of Music. It's a movie. A doe, a deer, a female deer. Du, 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 du. I'm a terrible singer. I hate myself. Anyway, this is pronounced does. A female deer is called a doe, and more than one is does. Doze, doze. Just like the last one, we wrote D-O-Z-E, right? Doze, doze. All right. This one now, the next one, also an end sound, because, 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 because. There's that Z sound there. It's pretty quick, it's pretty fast, but it is there. You have to make it. But you don't want to make it so much that you add something else, which would make another syllable. You don't want to say because, right? That would be too strong. Because, because. Some people say because, because. It's very common in America for people to say because, 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 because. Both are, I guess, okay. Next one, wives, wives, wives. So this one is not vz, vz. It's much faster. It's vz, vz. You need to go straight from the v to the z. Vz, 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 vz. Remember the V sound here. We talked about that one, v, right? Directly to the z sound. There's no break, not a vz. That sounds bad. It has to be a vz, vz, wives. But you can't focus on it. You can't say wives. That doesn't sound good. So you have to make it pretty fast and not too strong. Wives, 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 wives. So we don't say wives. It is a Z sound. It is wives. So once again, quickly, fuse, use, does, doze, because, wives. Okay? Now we have to very quickly talk about a special sound that S makes in certain words, such as, and you probably know, U-S-U-A-L-L-Y and D-E-C-I-S-I-O-N. These are just two examples. There are more. Okay. They are more like vision. You could say maybe vision. D-I-S-I-O-N. That's another one. Why am I whispering? Why am I talking like this? Who am I? All right. So, U-S-U-A-L-L-Y. One way to say this, which is correct in some places, is usually. And some people really will say it like that. But I do not want to teach you that one. I'm teaching you American English. So in American English, we say this one as zh, 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 zh. So my teeth are together tight, okay? And I'm making the sh sound, which is pretty easy to make. Sh, 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 like that sound, okay? But I'm adding my voice. So I'm doing plus sh. Put them together. Z, 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 z. It's pretty weird, right? It's a weird sound, but it is a sound in English, and you have to be able to do it. American English is full of this sound, okay? So, you, ju, li. Usually, 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 usually. Usually, I like to run around in my house with my cats. The next one, decision, decision. Here, this C, this C makes the S sound, which it sometimes does. It's called a soft C. It's a hard C. Hard C is like K. So the C here makes a soft sound, which is like the S sound. And the S here, usually when you see S-I-O-N, we'll say jeune, 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 jeune. Decision, decision, decision. Vision, vision, jeune. It's that sound. Vision, decision, vision. Usually. So practice this one until you can match me, until you can get it just right. And then, as always, make it a habit. Go to the next step. Make it a habit. Habits are so important, especially for this course. If you remember anything from this course, remember how important it is to make these things habit, not just learn them. Learning is the first step. The next step is habits. Okay, so just like I did for the TH, I want to read and give you a short paragraph to practice the S and the Z sounds. And I hope you can read this many, many times out loud and maybe record yourself reading it out loud so that these can become a habit. Remember, it's very, very important to not only learn basic pronunciation, but also make it a habit. So I'm going to read this 2 times. The first time slowly with stress on the sound, the second time naturally and quickly. Here we go. Wise zoning wizards so seldom send whizzing missiles to the fuzzy, whispering zombie people of the basal states that the zoning wizards have caused the fuzzy zombies to become docile dozers and snoozers. Okay, some people say basil, some people say basil. Common American pronunciation, basil. All right, now one more time, this time faster and natural. Wise zoning wizards so seldom send whizzing missiles to the fuzzy, whispering zombie people of the basal states that the zoning wizards have caused the fuzzy zombies to become docile dozers and snoozers. And you may be wondering, did Luke write that, or did he find it somewhere? Ha! I wrote it by myself. So if it's ridiculously stupid and you can't understand it, you know who to blame. All right, so in the next video, we're going to be talking about more consonant sounds. We're going to be focusing on L, R, and N. So I will see you in the next lesson.